Yeah, so my broad views on AI safety is that we found a way to make this thinky stuff in data centers. And we can kind of reshape it into whatever we want. Like, I don't believe in any of the doomer or bloomer narratives. Like, we can just choose to reshape it how we want, the way we choose to shape matter into cathedrals or into skyscrapers. And so one thing we definitely could shape this thinky stuff in is like a unitary godlike superintelligence. Oh, great, thank you. That replaces us or enslaves us. Or, yeah, a mimetic plague, a recommender system that tells you exactly what to do. We could burn down all the data centers and salt the earth. I'm actually pretty sympathetic to this view. Yeah, happy to cooperate if anyone knows people in DC. I think and then there's like, okay, what are the good things we could do with this? And I think the dominant vision right now, at least in industry, is a personal assistant, like a secretary or a tutor, a romantic partner maybe. And I think this is kind of fundamentally mistaken because it's atomizing. It's sort of, if we go too far down this path, I think it'll actually destroy most of what we value. And instead, I think we should use all this thinky stuff, all these GPUs and all these data centers to create this like intelligent, wholesome social fabric. Another way to put this is like, what we've done in the last 10 years, maybe 20 years of AI research is finally unblock the pipeline from data and compute to intelligence. Like, you just put more data, more compute into a data center, and what comes out is more intelligence. But it turns out more intelligence is not exactly what we wanted. I think what we want is something closer to trust, or you could say cooperation, or you could say social fabric or something. And trust, again, really hard to define, but in this case, I'll say something like people's ability to predict each other's behavior in a way that scales or allows us to do the things we want together at scale. And notably, and it's interesting, right, LLMs are initially trained precisely to do prediction. They're later post-trained to act on our behalf, like the instruction tuning paradigm or the agent tuning paradigm. But actually, most of the optimization power is going to prediction. And so I think in some sense, this is just the natural way we use LLMs, and the agent paradigm is sort of mistaken. Yeah, so different things we could do with, different kind of ways we could arrange AI to do this social fabric thing, hive minds, deletable diplomats, smart markets, cyberpolis, intention economy. Don't have time to talk about these, but yeah, talk to me this afternoon. Something I want to just center, since kind of we're talking about post-AGI futures, is what are the constraints? Like, it's often hard for me to even think about how much the world will change, but there's some things I expect not to change, and that's like the fundamental architecture of our minds, of our human minds, I should say. And you know, the famous Dunbar number is that we can only maintain about 150 trust relationships. A funnier one, a much smaller one, is that you can only really track 4 human mental states. This is sort of like the L1 and L2 cache, you could say, where you have hardware acceleration for modeling 4 human mental states, which is why if you ever find me, you'll never find me at this conference in a group of more than 4 people. If there's more than 4 people, I'll split. And then the one I think about the most, which Barron talked about a bunch, is the 40 bits per second, which is the maximum bandwidth of human language. And this is universal across languages, so it's almost certainly some kind of neurological constraint on our, like, Broca's area, the language area of the brain. And yeah, I think bandwidth is incredibly important. And I kind of think of human communities now as these like deep sea anglerfish. You know, there's an anglerfish that showed up off the coast of Portugal. Like, it's supposed to live in the deep ocean, but it like showed up near the surface and it was like totally confused, just flopping around. And that's kind of what I think we're doing, is that we evolved in this environment where bandwidth was incredibly constrained. We had to squeeze out everything we needed to talk about with each other through 40 bits per second. And now, yeah, you can buy an Ethernet cable that can transmit like 100 million human voices equivalents of information for $3. So it's actually insane. Yeah, conclusion, yeah, I think the biggest thing I want to communicate is like the future of AI-human coexistence is totally up for grabs. It's almost like this alien bacteria landed on the Earth, which is called like something like the LLM or the deep learning layer or whatever. And we have no idea how to integrate it into our biosphere. And I think the right way to do it is to I like the frame of organic alignment where we need to sort of grow it into our biosphere, start very small, see how it works for individuals, see how it works for small communities, and then kind of grow outwards from there instead of scaling in the way that most people talk about integrating AI in the economy. And yeah, the key question I'm wrestling with right now is, yeah, should this be a new research lab? If it is a research lab, like what is the core research process? What is kind of the social fabric within which it should be embedded? Should it be a nonprofit? Should it be maybe a church? Because, you know, talking about intelligent social fabric makes it sound a lot like a religion, or at least a lot of the functions that religion used to serve. And yeah, if you want to help, join the Discord, give me your email. I'll also be running a breakout session at 1:15 if you want to talk about any of this. Thanks.